guess it depends.
Pretty fast, yeah.
Cheaper
But I
for
mean,
them,
it's.
don't wanna-
Who shows up?
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I think the earliest I've ever.
Details,
Fifty.
details.
I
I would suspect so. I'm not quite- I'm not quite-
They still-
I mean, it didn't need.
Mother's Day week. I
They're
guess.
kids.
Yes.
But I emailed it to them, but I will,
We've
I
done
can get it
most
for
of
them.
the
Let me
work.
just
We
do
I
started
have it,
last
I
year.
can read it off. I just
Okay.
wanted to
We
make
just
sure.
added
yeah, I
another
just wanna make sure
20
that,
hours.
even though this technology, had it for a while, it's always really like.
Oh, yeah.
Come here.
Oh, yeah.
That 20
Yes.
Hi, how are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. As far as I know.
Jennifer?
Yes.
I made her hat.
Yes, this is,
See,
I haven't taken it off for.
back to grader and everything out in the field. Taking all fence lines.
Oh, yeah.
That
And there's the
Weber.
other signer for us.
He's control the changes,
Day by day, it's what his daughter told me.
Oh,
That was like a week ago, maybe even longer.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we're all here. 6:30. Okay, is recorder on? It is Tuesday, April 12th, 2022, 6:30 PM. I'll call this Town of Oregon Board meeting to order at 1138 Union Road, Oregon, Wisconsin. With that, I give roll call.
Kate Gladdy,
Here.
Fred Clark,
Here.
Wayne Ace,
Here.
Arlen Christensen,
Here.
Jason Marshall.
Here. Thank you. 3 is approval of minutes. I have, I got a motion from Arlen. I have one correction.
Okay.
Item 10. After Ace said the town did cut back on SAT in previous years, should be so.
Oh, sorry about that. Thank you. I will make that.
And then I just wanted to bring up on item 12. I thought last month we approved of going on that cement saw. Is that not what the minutes were? I thought we approved just through the cement saw
That,
because it was such a little amount.
there was no motion that
There
you
wasn't.
talked about it. Yeah, there was not a
There was no
motion.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's all I got. Is there a second? Or anybody else have any corrections? Like a second?
I'll second it.
Got a second from Kate. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, is gonna say an aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 4, finance report and payment vouchers approval.
You have 2 financial reports in your packet. You're gonna have February's and then you're also gonna have March. So if I could have a separate motion for both, that would be great, please.
Can I ask a question on March?
Sure.
Capital outlay stayed the same and we paid 14,000 something for that shed. Should have come out of capital outlay.
Yeah, we didn't make that transfer, but we will make that transfer. She probably just didn't make it in the same month that we paid the bill. So that was February to March. I'll make a note of that and have her make that transfer. Thank you.
And then the impact, the impact for you, we got a new house last month and it didn't go up that $2,000.
So they don't always pay an impact fee if the lot was already developed. If it's a new house, the impact fee doesn't apply. It only as if you create it.
Which also was, but I see there was a new one.
So it's like if the plan commission did a rezone and they took it out of ag land, that's when that impact fee comes in, when you have to have a CSM on it. So all new houses don't have,
Oh, I see. Okay.
all new houses don't have.
Anybody else got any questions on anything? Have a motion to approve the February vouchers and finance report. I'll make the motion to approve the February.
Report and vote.
Have a motion to approve the February finance report and vouchers. Or a second?
I'll second it.
Second from Kate. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, somebody saying aye. Aye. Both same sign. Motion carries. I'll need a motion to approve March's finance report and payment vouchers.
Move to approve.
A motion from Arlen to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
second from Jason. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign, motion carries. Item 5 is appearance by Dane County Sheriff Deputy
Sorry.
Barton, but there's a letter in here that he's not gonna be here.
Yep, and can we approve the payment vouchers too? That, I think it's actually gotten all around.
I
with
did do that.
Jason's. You did
It was all
February.
in
and-
one motion.
Oh, okay.
We did the February, then we did March payment and
And
finance report
March.
and
Okay,
vouchers.
okay, sorry, thank you.
Item 5, Sheriff Deputy Barton's not gonna be here. Got a note there about going to a funeral. I guess anybody have questions on that? Nothing we can really do.
Yeah, I think he's been doing a pretty good job. He actually even came to election day to let us know progress on things, so he's making as much an effort as he can with the time he has.
Anybody else? Item 6, public comment. Anybody in the audience got anything they want to make comment on that's not on the agenda? State your name and address, please.
Carl Walzer, 6220 on Wednesday. I don't know if this is the perfectly appropriate time to do this, but I just wanted to say thank you to Supervisor Christensen and Supervisor Marshall for years of support for the town and the contribution that you've made. I appreciate it and thank you.
Anybody else in the audience that have public comments not on the agenda? Please state your name and address, please.
Dina Zentner, Town of Rutland, 97 Shady Willow Road, Brooklyn. I am the chairperson in the town of Rutland and also a municipal neighbor. We share boundaries and we share resources with the town of Rutland with the town of Oregon. And I'm here tonight to say that I appreciate and respect the collaboration that we've recently experienced with multiple shared interests and issues. And I want to thank Wayne Ace for his efforts and extra efforts in helping Rutland with several issues, giving his advice and adding his experience that helps town of Rutland.
Thank you. Anybody else in public comment? Yes.
Laura and Nick Wilmot, 5596 Windridge Road. So most of you have been along with our journey with our lot lines. And so we are here today to ask the town, we understand that the Planning Development Commission Board is looking for your input in what they're considering with the new plan. And some background for those of you that are not familiar with our situation. We purchased 2 parcels, which Jennifer is so kindly pulling up now. You can't find us by name, I'm sorry, it's locked.
Okay, what's your address again?
5596 Windridge. So we purchased 2 properties. Essentially, there's just deed restrictions and some issues with our properties. And we've been working over the last year to try and get the titling and everything cleaned up. But as part of the current planning and development plan, we can't clean it up without losing our development right and losing one of our parcels. So I've been working with the county, with the planning committee to figure out what we can do. And I believe Jennifer had forwarded this to you, but essentially what I'm asking the town board to take into consideration is to give some feedback to the planning committee to include some language that would allow us and other people in my situation to fix certain issues. So it reads, I'm just going to read you what Brian from the county provided me. He said, we discussed the idea of adding language to the town comprehensive plan that would allow for exceptions to the 2-acre minimum lot size under certain circumstances. Below is possible language that might be accomplished. Where there are between 2 and 4 existing lots, all created prior to December 1994, and are all zoned for residential development. Lot lines may be reconfigured in such a way that 1 or more revised lots may be between 3/4 of an acre and 2 acres in area. Under no circumstances shall the total number of home sites be increased beyond what is permitted under the current configuration. Reason for recommending this is in our particular situation, our what we're trying to accomplish doesn't impact the density of development. It doesn't impact what was planned for septic systems. And Brian feels that this language would avoid underground water issues associated with an over concentration of septic systems and would allow for sufficient room on any modified lot for a new septic system and a replacement drain field. And so essentially, we're looking to have some type of language like that adopted so that we don't lose what we purchase and that other people going through similar circumstances don't lose those rights either.
Excuse me. Okay, well, we can't act on that tonight because it's not on the agenda. It's a public comment
Correct.
section. I would almost recommend that go to the plan commission,
She's going to, yeah.
you know, and then from there, it'll come back to the board. That is the process. So if you take your letter and stuff like that to the plan commission, they will look at it and then make recommendations to the board.
Were they looking to have a recommendation from you guys? Am I misunderstanding this, Jennifer?
Who
No,
was?
it's,
Who was looking for
okay,
recommendations?
so they are on comp plan issues, but on this specific issue, the plan commission, I don't know that the plan commission has discussed it as a group. Have you discussed this as a group?
Not as a group.
Okay, so like they discussed it, you discussed it in the bigger group, but what Wayne's asking is that the plan commission discuss it as a committee and then they make a recommendation back to the town board.
Correct.
If they would support this idea that the language that Brian Standing is suggesting. Will they support it? And then, so it's good you come, but yeah.
So
I just want to make sure I'm doing everything right. It's been a lot of pieces to put together.
that's on the
So,
plan commission.
yes,
Okay,
I am attending, I think it's next week, honestly, I don't remember.
Week after next. week.
Between the village and the town, it's been a lot of meetings, okay.
2 weeks.
And then come back and work with you to get on the agenda for May then?
Well, if the plan commission does it, it'll automatically go on the agenda for us.
So I guess we don't really have a process in place for what they're asking, because what they're asking is to amend the comp plan.
Mhm.
So I don't know that I would assume they would just still go on as public comment and that if they wanted it on as an agenda item to vote on it, because it's not in her particular, it would affect multiple parcels in the town of Oregon. What she's asking, it wouldn't just be for her alone. So
Well,
any lots would have to have this, so the plan commission is gonna have to do it, not by a request from her, but kind of as part of the comp plan revision.
Well, it's gonna have to be on the plan commission's agenda to talk about it and make any kind of approval or motion.
Right, so I think that they should do it at public comments, and then at public comments, if the plan commission wants it, they could request it be on an agenda item to pass.
But still, she's got a lot. She's got a split.
Mhm,
All she's doing is changing the lot line.
mhm.
What
To
are they
remove-
asking different for than what was approved last month?
She can't get 2 acres if she adjusts her lot line, and so that makes her lose her split. She
Correct.
would like to split her lot lines and be under 2 acres and still keep her split.
I just
Our
want
comp
to
plan
add
does
to
it.
that. Dane County is wrong. I don't actually have 2 acres now. So can I point to the screen? Is that okay, you guys?
Absolutely.
So if you look at Dane County, it says that this lot here is 2.02 acres. This lot here is 2.05 acres. That is not accurate. This lot is 1.95 acres. So my hands are tied in every way possible to try and fix this and even keep 2 parcels because of the way it's zoned, because the acreage is wrong. So I've worked with the county and they've gone back and essentially it was a clerical error. That square foot was listed when it was filed and somebody converted it to acres wrong, and that's just the way it's always been. So our septic system, for those of you that don't know, is for whatever reason was put on this parcel. And so the sanitation department put a deed restriction on it. And so essentially, we just want to clean it up because it was really difficult at closing. It just presented a lot of issues and essentially move that lot line down so that the septic system and our gas line all run on the same parcel with our property. But we can't unless we put it into one parcel because of the fact that the acreage isn't there. It's not zoned correctly, and there was just a lot of errors done with it.
How many acres is the other lot where your house is?
2.
And that's accurate?
Mhm.
And that was 1.95.
Correct, we have a total of 3.95.
So truthfully, the way the rules read, you can't build on that lot.
In a subdivision.
I am
Oh, in
grandfathered.
a subdivision?
That's a subdivision.
That's right.
Yes.
That's a subdivision.
I technically can't
Right,
build on
sorry.
this lot.
Yep, I'm correct, yes.
We talked about all this at the last
I know.
meeting and I brought it up and everybody said, no, this is what they want. We passed it, done deal. And Now everybody's,
No, I just
now
wanted
everybody's
to,
changing their mind and I was the one looking like a fool.
no, I want
I
to
was
be very
trying to
clear.
protect you guys.
We never wanted to combine it. Never.
No,
And like, that was, what we didn't understand in working with the county was that the current plan is under revision. Because we started talking about this last year. I mean, it's been a really long journey. And we've always wanted to keep it into two, and that's when I went back to the county and was like, what can I do at this point before we finalize it? And they said that since the plan is currently under review, that I should speak to all of you guys to recommend having that language put in the new plan. So I don't know, I don't feel like I'm amending the current plan. I'm just asking for that language to be added in the new plan to fix it. I mean, I can't imagine I'm the only one that has something wonky like this, just somebody that's dug into it and really figured it out, and I would just hate to lose it.
Well, I'm guessing it should go back to plan commission. Have them look at it. And tell them what you want to do. And then it'll come back to us. And then we can move forward with it. from
See
there.
what the other lot sizes are in that subdivision, because it looks like a small one down below there that's a lot less than 1 acre, you know.
She actually went through,
So
she went through the entire subdivision and found that
there are only 3 lots in our subdivision that are over an acre, and one of them is ours. I'm gonna get these
over 2 acres,
percentages.
over 2 acres.
1 acre, over 1 acre. I'm gonna get some of these percentages wrong. I didn't come prepared with it, but I do have a PowerPoint from planning committee. Of the acres that are under 1 acre, the average is like 0.76 or 0.74. It was something like that. 96% were all under an acre in and of itself. So that's why specifically Brian recommended the 3/4 of an acre. Because when you take a look at not only our subdivision, but other subdivisions, typically even 3/4 of an acre is higher than what most of those other lots are.
But Jason, didn't you bring up to have them divide it in the center or something?
yeah,
Divide it?
isn't that one of
Wasn't
them
that your
lots
thought?
that's already, it already can have a split on it, right?
Yeah.
Or, okay,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
buildable.
and that's what I brought up, divide it the other way, shared driveway. Your septic and your house are on one and you got your 2 lots, that will, I mean, that's
Under
what I.
the current
suggested.
language, we can't make.
What's
another
that?
one. Under the current language, we couldn't do it.
I thought
because
there's a,
So they can't do it now, but they're asking for us to add language so they could do
Oh,
it,
so
and others could do it.
there's not a building site available with that property, no.
There is, but they can't build on it because their septic is on that building.
Because
site.
if I
Yeah, but
change
it,
my
so
lot
when they're
lines,
changing these lot lines, why can't they change the lot line?
Because
of it?
it's under 2 acres.
because if I do a new CSM, I'm no longer grandfathered. And that means I fall under the regulations as of today. And today it says it has to be 2 acres. And I don't have 4 acres to
So
split.
how
it
can
into
there
2
be a
lots.
building site there, but yet they can't chop it in half?
Because
Exactly.
I'm grandfathered.
It sounds like there's some gray area there and somebody ought to be able to,
Welcome to our world.
well, it sounds like somebody ought to be able to discuss that as adults. I mean, it's there, and that's what the township is trying to do, is consolidate some of these lots. And that's why I brought it up at the
Yeah.
last meeting and hated to see you guys lose that was already there.
Exactly.
I mean, it's, I understand the driveway thing, but I mean, there's no reason you guys can't do a shared driveway on that property.
So,
I'm glad you looked into it, honestly, because.
yeah, we've been
it's-
looking into it for a while, and it's just hard because there's a lot of unknowns with the.
I think you need to explain that,
with
I think you need to explain that to the planning commission, exactly what's going on and make sure they understand there is a buildable lot there. It's just a little bit.
So if we're going through this and we can possibly bring it up that it can help future zoning or language, it might be beneficial for everyone.
Well, it's exactly what the planning commission's trying to do now with some of these lots to conserve some of the ag land
Yeah.
and whatnot. It's a perfect example.
And to be frank, until we got the survey, we didn't realize we couldn't split our lot lines because we were going under the assumption that we had 4.07 acres.
It's
And
funny,
we
a month
paid
ago-
for a survey on 4.07 acres, and then they're like, nope, you have 3.95, so we did our due diligence. We went to the planning committee. We asked for their recommendation. We took that, we planned to do 2 lots, and then it was like, we don't have 2 acres to do 2 lots. So back to the drawing board we went. And so like, it's been a long process for us, which is fine. We have time. It's not urgent. It's been a real struggle, and I just don't want other people underneath the same circumstances to struggle like we have.
I'm sure Wayne knows better than me by far, or Jennifer, but I can't believe that can't be ironed out if it's there. I mean, that lot's already there, and that's what the township is striving for.
And that's the language that Brian recommended specifically. I think it said December 1994 or whatever,
Yeah.
because that just shows people who were grandfathered are still grandfathered. And I think Jennifer had emailed you guys all that
Yep.
language. If
Yep.
you guys need that, I'm happy to provide
Nope.
that as well.
We
But
got
that's
it.
essentially what went into that language.
Yep.
Was keeping the grandfather, and then the acreage part of it was because based off of subdivisions, that's typically what the acreage is.
Never didn't last very long, 30 days. Just kidding with you.
Anybody else got any comments on that? But that'll be the direction I'll take.
Okay.
Sounds good.
And then
I
we
will do that.
work from it.
Thank
from
you.
there. Anybody else in public comment? Seeing none, we'll go to 7. Communication, Dane County Board, Jerry's not here. And he didn't call me, he usually calls, he didn't come. He's right. I think he pointed out last week. 8, discussion of possible approval of recent ordinance number 90. 2.60.010 municipal board of absentee ballot. So Jennifer, you want to explain this?
Yes, I can. So during the presidential election, when you're under those restrictions to social distance, we did the absentee ballots out in the garage. And because it wasn't in the exact same room, we had to pass an ordinance that allowed us to canvass those absentee ballots out in the garage. We haven't had to do that since, and there's no plans to do that into the future. So this is just rescinding that ordinance that we had to pass to do those out in the garage.
I call for motion to approve the rescind of ordinance number 90. Got a motion from Fred. Is there a second? Second from Arlen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, we're saying aye. Aye. Pose same sign, motion carries. Let's sign that, Jennifer.
Yes, you do. Get your clean copy.
Thanks. Item 9, discussing possible action of police services.
Excuse me, it's got Steve Root's name on it and not
And not,
Kate's.
okay, Kate, let me get you new one. Why don't we continue and I'll get that ready when we're done. Sorry, Kate.
Discussing possible action of police services for ordinance enforcement. Kate, you want to talk about this? You gonna work
Yeah,
for this?
I think it's something that you and I have discussed also, that because we can't enforce where we lowered the speed limit on Glenway unless we have a contract with Dane County. They cannot enforce any ordinances. And since that became an issue, I've been contacted several times by another resident who has called Dane County out, and Dane County said, I'm sorry, we can't enforce anything, we can't do anything because we aren't under contract. So it seems like now is maybe the time to start thinking about this. I know that we wouldn't do anything tonight, but I told the resident that has contacted me that I'd start to put it into motion a little bit, that hopefully, you know, at the next board meeting, it can be discussed a little bit more further. I talked to Jan Tetzlaff, she agreed, you know, there's a problem in that area. We can't do anything right now. She agreed, she said she would come tonight. I said, we don't need you to come tonight, but she said she would come next month to the board meeting. But I know it's something that you talked about. I don't know how it works into the budget. We have all the amounts that she said last time that they were here, and it amounts to like $100 an hour. But seeing we don't have any enforcement, any police enforcement, really nothing in the town. And I mean, there's been problems at some of the parks, all sorts of things. The other thing is the constable has been sent to that area, and it's not really safe. He's not armed. There's nothing to do. So I'm just thinking it's a good time to really consider it and maybe move forward.
Yep, I think we should too. I guess have you asked them how many hours we have to do per month?
I think it's written on all the stuff here.
That's not how many hours we have to do. Is there a minimum?
I thought it was here because I didn't bring that.
I mean, so
It's
I
like
got,
the Village of Rockdale does 4 hours a week.
for this year,
Minimum is 4 hours a month.
But I don't know if that's the minimum.
yeah, I don't know either.
4 hour blocks
I
of
thought we
time.
could, yes, it's a minimum of 4 hour blocks at a time, but we don't have to do it monthly if I understand that correctly. So I mean, what this means up here, this 4 hours blocks of time, hiring the county is for speed enforcement. So if you call them out, it's a situation that you're talking about, that is not considered a block of time. So if we hire them to do our ordinance, anybody can call them and they can enforce our ordinance. It's not held against our blocks of time. That blocks of time is just for speed enforcement. So if we, which I think we should do, is approve this eventually here and do enforcement or have them do our ordinances. But I need to know if we can do maybe 4 hours every other month. And I don't have that answer.
I think she can tell us, she'll come next week and
And-
maybe explain.
Because this would be $400 a month, it'd be, you know, $5,000 a year. Well, this, you know, we're already halfway through the year almost, so we're 40 way through the year. So with that much, so we should be able to find that kind of money to do it. But I think it'd be good, yeah, bring her in next month. I'm all for that and move forward.
Are we getting a lot of complaints in the office on speeding?
No,
No,
no.
so we're not getting any complaints, but we're gonna go ahead and spend some more money on
Well,
something we're not getting complaints on.
Jason, this, I guess to explain it better, the way I feel of saying yes to this is if there is a issue with somebody parked alongside the road, parking equipment on the road, we can call Dane County and they can go enforce that ordinance. Right now, they cannot do that. The only person that can enforce that ordinance now is our constable. And where this is coming forward, we have a situation where there's it's not safe for our constable to go to. And the police are telling us they cannot enforce that sign because we have not hired them to enforce our ordinances. So truthfully, what I'm looking at, I would rather see us get by less hours for speeding, but still get the ordinance passed so that they can enforce our ordinances that police don't
Is
expect.
there ordinances like that other than the speeding out there we have they can't enforce, like the parking you're saying, or I mean, is that, I mean, I understand the speeding thing. I didn't know there was.
But they can enforce the speeding like when we changed it on Glenway, they can enforce that now because that is a speed limit of the town.
Correct.
They don't have to have our ordinances to enforce that speed limit. What are some other examples?
So then would we get rid of our constable eventually?
I think that's the route to go.
I mean,
Next
pay
year,
him four grand a year or whatever, if we can,
correct,
if the police will do it, you know.
I
right.
guess, Arlen, my concern was if we're not getting these calls at the office for any really problems, why not take that extra money and put roads, maintenance on roads and upgrade there? I can fully understand it if we're getting calls in the office, there's a lot of complaints, makes perfect sense then, but we're not getting them.
It's,
We're not getting speeding complaints, but we're getting complaints about people being in the park after hours. So like there's certain park hours and they're doing some damage to the park, so
But there's nobody seeing them do that, is there?
there is, and there
Oh,
are
there is now.
neighbors. Yes, there
Okay,
are.
I
neighbors.
had never
Yeah.
heard that.
see, our constable right now is working 16 hours a day.
I didn't know anybody was actually seeing people in the park. I know there was some damage done and I didn't know anybody actually seen anybody in the park doing anything. You know, and to hire them on, they're not gonna make a difference in the park with people doing vandals. You know, more than likely, they're gonna be down here daytime hours doing speed.
But it's getting harder to find the constable, I think, to run, because Kurt doesn't want to run next time around. So I mean, we could put that
Oh, I
money towards
agree
it,
that, yeah,
and I think it would be a good way to go. As far as speed, you know, we're getting enforcement now without hiring them. But we could also, if we do hire them, we can say, okay, we want you on this road for this long time. Now, I don't, has it helped over there where you're at, Mark? I see you got your arm up.
Not really. The normal people that were going 50, 55 are doing it. But 5 in the morning until 6:30, they're doing 70. And from 3 o'clock in the afternoon until 5:30, they're all going home in a big hurry. And I've seen the squad car, the county out there at 10:30, 11 o'clock, 2 in the afternoon. Well, I talked to a deputy in here one at election. And I said, you need to be out there at 5:30 or 6 in the morning. And he said, well, yeah, the problem is it's shift change.
Mhm.
So he said it's hard to get somebody there. But if they could,
And they are short-staffed.
if they could go out and enforce it, it'd slow everybody down, but.
But I feel if we, you know, if we spend that 5 grand towards the sheriff's department, I feel they'll pat us in the back a little more and do a little more enforcement, you know. That's how I kind of feel.
It
You know,
might help if you put red flags on the 45-mile-an-hour speed limits, but I don't know.
so I guess if she could come next month, if you want to invite her, and then
Okay.
I think we should look into it and possibly move forward.
Speed bumps or 4-way stop.
Oh, we
sign
ain't putting a
if
speed bump.
We got a speed bump.
Yeah, we got a speed bump. That did slow down. When they put it off of Bellbrook and. Okay, any more discussion on that? We'll put that on next month's agenda then, Jennifer.
Okay,
Item 10, discussing possible approval of more purchase from Carter and Greenwald. Jason, are you up to speed on this?
I am not. I've not talked to the guys at all.
Okay, well, I did today because I asked what was wrong with one we had. I thought we were supposed to have 2 bids. I thought we were supposed to do one from Sloan,
page
but I don't.
23,
There's one.
page 23 is Sloan, and then page 24 is Carter and Greenwald.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't see it. So. Here's the deal. I asked him today what was wrong with one we had. And his response was, well, one we have is 7 years old. And he's concerned of gearbox going out and it's not under warranty anymore. The last one we had was 12 years old. See both sides of this. One, they're not gonna get any cheaper. That we do know, that's not gonna happen. Well, if we wait a year, if we wait 2 years, we're probably gonna add $4,000 or $5,000 to that, pretty darn easy. So that's one way of looking at this bid, that they're not gonna get any cheaper. The other thing is a new one does carry a 6-year warranty, which if you look at it, that's the life of the one that we currently have. So I don't know, for $10,000, you know, that's under $2,000 a year to have warranty and have a new piece of equipment. At first, I wasn't in favor of it because we bought so much equipment this last year. Everything keeps going up, and not only with the way things going up, it's getting hard to get stuff sometimes too. It's getting very hard to get some equipment. What's gonna happen in 2 years if it does break? So I'm just putting out the pros and cons there. I can go either way. My only question is here, Jennifer, on this price from Carter Greenwell says 10,360, but this note that you
I
sent to
know.
Carter Greenwell says
I
10,819.
screwed that up. I'm
Okay, so
sorry.
that's your
I
mistake.
gotta, that was my
Okay.
mistake. I gotta switch that.
I
It's
just wanted to
gonna
check
be
that, make sure.
10,360.
So
I just couldn't read it or
I'm
something.
willing for discussion. I'm just, Jason, what's your thoughts?
Same with you either way.
Arvin,
How long do they think it'd take to get this one?
he said, I think August is what he said.
Yeah,
That's the plan.
if we have trouble this summer, we won't be able to get one.
So that's true.
I would say at some point, this stuff's gonna break. If you're not gonna get it this summer, why monkey with it?
I think he said August, that
If they say August, it'll be October, and you guys could revisit it with the new board. Remember,
the way I look at it though, is the price is locked in. If you wait till fall, it could go, with the way metal's going, it could be 1,000, 2,000 more.
it could go up or it could go down. I guess nobody knows. I mean, it's extreme up now, but at some point, something's gotta break.
I know.
It's anybody's guess. You're 100% correct. It could go up.
It's gonna go before it comes down.
I think we should order it and see if we can get it and see how long it does take, because if we get something happens to that other one, we ain't gonna have it till next year anyway, so. This one's another year. Fred?
You know, I think for that kind of money, you're right, the price is only gonna go up. It ain't gonna come down, nothing comes down as fast as it goes up, so I think at $10,360, $2,000 a year. It's pretty cheap money to own a piece of equipment. I have no problem with it.
I don't have a problem with it either. I sort of trust people thinking that now is the time to do this, and I know he spent some time on this.
I guess to move forward here, I'll call for a motion either way.
I'll make a motion that we buy mower from Carter and Grunwald for the cost of $10,316.
No, 360.
360, sorry. I heard 16.
I'd second it.
Got a motion from Fred and second from Arlen. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, so I'm saying aye.
All right,
Opposed? You got that, Jennifer?
I did. Thank you.
We have a fire and EMS. Oregon, we're all in budget, everything is good. Put on two more EMTs. And we're having a joint meeting in July. Well, Jason, I don't know if there's.
Ted had called me and I lost his call and I didn't get back to him, but I believe it was Jamie, the chief, took a job with the Mayo Clinic. He's resigning. And they're in the process of deciding what they want to do. They just had you talk to him.
no, but when I was on the board, we just hired him, Gene,
And we just
from Albany.
and we just gave him a big raise, to keep him. He was not out looking. They had offered before, but they also, this time around, they offered him double the pay. I mean, he was gonna be like 130. I mean, it was something he had to do.
Sure.
So Ted and one of the other ones, I would imagine it'll get discussed at the next meeting more in depth, but that's what's going on down there.
Brooklyn, Fred, you got anything? You just want Mark to talk?
This Mark, I wasn't there.
If things are going very smoothly, the morale is up about 200% with the new full-time chief. Our own service is way down because we have somebody there. We have fire truck is fixed and back in the station with the house fire we had on Union Road. We pumped 105,000 gallons of water on that fire. And the big problem with that fire was getting fire apparatuses to it. We had 1,600 feet of 4-inch hose drug out. And severe cold weather and the airlines were freezing up on the trucks, and I was over there till 4:30 in the morning with methanol trying to get those freed out and running with Perry Jorgensen. And we lost a pump on our new truck that we bought. So that had a crack in it. So that is repaired, back in the station, ready to go. We have 4 new EMTs, and 2 of those are paramedics. 1 is a registered nurse. We have 3 new firemen, and the latest one to come on is a full-time police officer with Stoughton. And he was originally, what, a year and a half, he was with City of Milwaukee. Took advanced medical training there and decided he didn't like the job in Milwaukee. And he took a job with Stoughton Police Department and bought a house in Brooklyn, and he's back on our group again. So everything is looking very good. Well pleased, well happy. Last board meeting was 45 minutes and everything was covered and done. And the agreement has been gone over. John Marks went over, and there was some new wordage that was put in there, and thank you, the municipalities have all signed that. You have a copy of it in your packet. Well, I guess everything is going good. And thank you for your support.
I will say too, Oregon had $17,000 worth of damage from that fire that night.
Yep.
So them are just 2 departments that we know of had damage, and there was, I don't know how many departments were there, 11 or 13?
13.
So we just know of 2, we don't know the rest of them that were there, how much damage they had. That's what happens when it's that cold out and so much
Wayne was there.
water.
And
I was there all night, and
the problem with that and the driveway ordinance, it goes back to the municipalities or the realtors. The problem, we could only get 2 fire trucks back there, which were pumpers, to pump the water that we were feeding in the dump tanks that we were dumping to was out on the curve of Union Road.
Yeah.
Then we had 2 trucks behind the buildings boosting the water to the other 2 trucks. And there was just ice everywhere, and everybody was falling down, and trucks were getting stuck, and we couldn't go out in the fields, which we operate all that land around it. There's only 4 inches of frost, so the fire trucks got stuck. And it was just a mess.
it was
But
not a good night.
we have a lot of driveways in our fire districts that we cannot get an ambulance or a fire truck to the residents.
I'm working with Chief on that now. We're gonna start doing something.
So thank
But
you.
anyway, that was an expensive night for everybody, for the owners too. 12, emergency management. Kate, you got any?
Nope, we're up to date.
Yeah, we're waiting on Dane County at this point.
Okay.
Yeah, there's a little memo that I included on page 49. that just
Yeah.
says that
13 cemetery report. I haven't heard that guy. Never called me, Jennifer. Have you
He
heard any more?
really, no, he said, I asked him to call you and reach out. I had not either.
I do know they did stake it out.
But it doesn't come anywhere close to what the map is. That's what I'm
Is
wondering.
it? I seen the stakes, but I haven't.
I went in
looked at
there.
the map.
I went in there, and this one comes over and then goes straight over to here, doesn't jut back like that.
I haven't looked at enough. I just seen the stakes were there.
Dickie's thing, he gets to drive off of there into his shed, well, his shed's
Well,
where they're out there, away from that, yeah.
so I'm gonna be working on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just
I did
didn't
see he
make
went
sense.
out there, but he hasn't called me to meet him or nothing, so.
Yeah, it didn't make
I know he
sense.
went on vacation and this and that, so I'll get on him. I know they're really busy. Park committee, Steve, you got?
Yeah, we had a meeting last night, but I wanna mention that you're all aware of the vandalism that occurred at Raven Oak. And vandalism that occurred at the town park. I want to thank the Abel and Ryan for extremely efficient support in supporting the park system and the requests that I make of them. I think it's great. They went out there and did a evaluation of the damage of Raven Oaks, and they made sure that the vandalism at the town park was taken care of ASAP. And I really appreciate that. The signs have been purchased. The money that was approved at the February meeting, board meeting, by the time we put in an order, the cost of the signs has gone up. Yeah. So I made an executive order to order the signs, and the signs are here, and the boys are going to be putting them up in the parks. The additional money, it was 500. Initially, it was $500 and some odd cents. The cost ended up being $892.02. The bill has been paid, and it's coming out of the park fund. So that's all I have.
Is there any thoughts, and I apologize, I didn't come to your meeting last night. I would have brought this forward last night. Is there any thoughts of like putting some kind of trees or shrub around that park by Raven Oaks there? Park to keep the cars from being able to reach to get through there?
Yeah, we've got a lot of ideas for the future. It was
Okay.
just one of those unfortunate situations.
I understand. It doesn't always happen, but I didn't know if there was anything in.
And, it turned out, best that we can come up with, it was a tan Toyota with a topper. Nobody could get the license plate. It happened more than once up there. People went out there and downed a dead tree across that area, so they couldn't get up after that.
Right.
That was a good reaction point. Yeah, we're gonna be coming up with a recommendation to close that off to traffic.
Okay.
And then if,
How wide area is it?
I think it's about 90 feet, isn't it? I stepped it off. I can't remember. I think it was about 90 feet, 60 or 90. I can't remember what it was.
To put rocks across there or something, would that work?
We want to do something that still allows our equipment to get up in there.
Right. That's what I was thinking too.
Right, and so we have to make that under consideration.
We could put a gate in if that was an option, a gate for the equipment to get through.
Yeah, we'll see what we come up with.
I was just gonna mention that they were looking for some rubber mats and that Madison Commercial Landscape gave them some for free.
Okay.
So it just kind of, that's that new business on D.
Okay.
So
And these rubber mats replace the ones at the Raven Oaks underneath the swing set.
Thank you.
You bet.
Planning Commission, Arlen?
We just worked on land use plan and you were all there, so I guess that's, as much as I do after that meeting.
Yeah. Another meeting in 2 weeks.
And are we gonna do that as
yeah.
another joint meeting? Is
Yeah.
that, okay, perfect, okay.
So as long as we're on the Planning Commission, we're gonna have to fill 2 spots on that Planning Commission. So my feeling is we need to advertise, I think on the website. I think we should probably throw one ad in the Observer for a week or maybe 2 weeks. And look for applications. And then let the Planning Commission go through them and the board go through them, and I don't know how many applications we'll get. I think that's, we should just advertise and see what we get for applications first. And if we get too many, then maybe we can get some kind of committee or something together and figure out what we're gonna do. But I think we should start advertising now, because isn't it in the packet here, was it June is it June when Brian is done and Arlen Kai?
Yes, technically it's June.
So
That's
we'll
how
have
the
to,
ordinance is written.
replace 2.
When would you like a date of applications to be submitted by?
This is what, April? I guess to give enough time, I'd say probably have them here by the 1st of June.
Okay,
I guess 6 weeks. But I think we should put on the website.
okay.
I think we should put an ad in the Observer for a couple of weeks.
So I'm kind of new at this. Arlen Christensen is a representative from the board,
Correct.
so will you still be on it?
No,
No.
So possibly then I will be, but that's certain positions that are open.
We
Okay.
have to. Brian Duffin's done. And then Arlen position on there would be done, but he could go back on and be appointed by me from the board. So
Which
we
would still leave two open.
so we still need,
leave
we have two
spots
openings no matter what.
Right.
So we gotta find two people.
Can I clarify? I'm sorry. The newspaper allows you to put them in the legal section, and then they also allow you to do box ads. Box ads are more expensive. but
We're gonna have to do a box ad. I don't
Like
think people
box
read the
ad?
legal sections. We're gonna have to do a box. I know it's gonna cost some money, but
Okay,
we gotta get the word out there. I mean, and that's another way people get the word out there. We gotta find people. I didn't think of it until just now. It's too bad we didn't have a sign on the door during voting, you know,
sure. Yeah.
but it's too late now. We can't back up.
We have more people looking at our notifications. You know, I made some forms and we handed some of them out at the election to just encourage people to sign up to be notified what's happening in the town. And so maybe more people will be reading it when you post it on the website too, hopefully.
So is everybody fine with that?
Mhm.
Everybody's nodding heads, so, okay, thanks. 16 Anderson Farm Park. Anybody got anything to talk about that?
I have nothing.
I'm doing some work for him on a wagon, I got some wheels and tires for him put together, but. Council report, Kurt's not here and I don't have nothing, he didn't send nothing, did he? I didn't see nothing in here.
I do not get anything.
No.
Didn't contact you either.
Public Works, we got the last of our salt. So our contract was all filled and the salt shed is full, which is a good thing. So we're ready for next fall. Let's hope no more this spring. The plows were all painted and done, and then we got that last snowstorm and they had to go back out. They're filling potholes. We got 3 trees in the township that we gotta take down. We got bids from Arbor System, a lot of bids from other companies. Nobody returned. I got 2 people that returned my call, but never show up. So it's tough to get people. Everybody is so busy and they're so short of help, they just ain't coming out to give us prices. I guess if we just gotta stay with Jeff, he is a town resident. I was just hoping to, didn't want to get away from Jeff, I was just hoping to get some estimates to see if he's in line, but I can't even get people to come out and give me an estimate. So we'll just have to use Jeff and get him down.
Taking trees down.
We got a big one and a bad one that's on Fish Hatchery Road. Over by across from the vet clinic.
Up the way, yeah.
It's in the road right away. And then there's one on Netherwood. That should have came down last year. We didn't get it down, but it should come down now. And then there's one on Locust Grove. It's just too big for the boys to take down. Now, our guys will be there when they take them down and help clean up. So that saves us costs. But it's too much for them to handle take down.
Well, the fish hatchery, the people are gonna take care of it. All they gotta do is drop it down and they'll take care of
And
that.
that's a huge, huge tree.
Yeah.
You should have them go down and take that one down across from Wilford's there. You probably see it. on the
Yeah, I've
bus.
seen that. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's slowly breaking up. but
Is
there
that ours or is that Brooklyn's?
No, that's Oregon's.
Is it Oregon?
The line, it's in Oregon.
Okay.
But I mean, there is one big branch and I mean, it'd probably be fine when it breaks off. It's probably gonna go in the ditch, but you don't know.
Right.
It wouldn't be that big a deal to
Right. Yep.
have them drop it, use a skid loader, and get rid of it.
Steve?
Yeah, I wanted to mention that 2 trees were down in the bicentennial park. Abel and Ryan are going after, be able to take care of that across the path. We're gonna do that this week.
Okay, thanks. Torque, Fred?
So I stopped down last week to the Torque and one of our employees informed me that he's going to be out for a year to 18 months with back surgery. So we are going to be short Torque employee. We had a gentleman come in and pick up an application, but I don't know if he's turned it in yet.
He has not.
Okay. And we are also discussing the need for 3 people there on a Saturday. Do we really need 3 people at the Torque on a Saturday?
What's your thoughts? I mean, I was there Saturday morning and just nonstop. But I'm saying, can 2 do it? I would.
It goes in streaks.
I think 2 could do it, but I mean, it is busy.
Yep. First thing out of the gate from 7:15 to 9 o'clock, it's busy and then gets a little slow and then it picks up and then it gets a little slow. I didn't bring it up, Sheldon brought it up to me. Do we really need to have, and I said, you tell me, you're the one you guys are the ones that are there.
But we're not letting them push brush up anymore.
Right.
While it's open.
Mhm.
So that saves a man right there from what they used to do. So we do really, everybody has to come through the recyclable and the trash line anyway to get through. One sits by the recyclable, one by the trash. I think two could do it. That's just my opinion.
Mhm. And Sheldon just brought it up as a cost savings of why have 3 people there if we don't need 3 people there. And then I said, well, if we do it, you and Lori would probably be a team if you wanted, and then Dave and whoever else comes on board whenever our next employee decides that he's going to be done for his back surgery, and he hasn't gotten back to me on if he's got a date yet for that, so.
But if you have Steve and Lori and Dave, they could alternate,
They could alternate,
and just use 3.
and we could use the 3 if they wanted to
If
do
they
that,
wanted to
but
do
we
that.
did get an application. Somebody did come in and get an application, so we do have somebody, but then in another month, 3 weeks, we're gonna be open on Wednesdays.
That's correct.
So then we have to figure out, because I know that 2 of our employees got their hours cut at their place of business and they're looking to pick up more hours.
Sure.
So we'll have to figure out a schedule to rotate what we have. So until the person drops off their application, we got 4, but we're losing 1, so we have 3 until we get that application dropped off and we see who it is and approve them.
Do you want to add that to the box ad? Are we desperate to put something in there for another employee out there?
I don't know. Do you think we need one?
Well, let me talk to everybody again and see if, like I say, if that drops off the application, we've got that extra person, but I can see they covered it with 3 for the end of last year through the beginning of this year when we had 1 out sick.
I mean, I know Dave wants to work 24/7.
Dave wants to work 24/7, and with the other 2 getting their hours cut,
Right.
they might be willing to, and we might.
Why don't we wait on the ad
Sure.
and
Okay,
let Fred
yeah,
work with them.
yeah,
and
you want me to.
I'll stop down and on Saturday and I'll talk to him again and make some contact and see what happens. But yeah, I can see if they want to just rotate the 3 and,
Let's see what happens with Wednesdays coming open now.
Yeah.
We don't need 3 on a Wednesday.
no, we don't need 3 and 2 on
2
Wednesday.
on Wednesday's fine.
Yeah. And it was always Dave and Bruce on Wednesday because they're retired and
Yeah.
whatnot, but
All right, see what you can do, let us know.
I will see.
Questions for Fred? 20, discussion and possible action on curbside pickup. Anybody got any discussion on that? What you want to do here?
I got some people that have contacted me about wanting to be on the committee.
Okay,
So we're getting a committee together and Kate's looking into maybe getting a couple more. Trying to get want the torque open, we don't care, we've got curbside, we don't want the torque open, and then maybe a couple that don't really have an opinion one way or another, just so we can get a straight across the board kind of thing. So we're getting some people interested in getting on the committee, so
we're gonna try to get that formed here the next month or so.
yeah,
Okay,
that's the plan.
Right, can you keep in mind with that whole dumpster thing, I think if you guys do decide to go along with the curbside thing, put some pressure on Peditary Waste Management, whoever you go with, about, I don't know if you can do like a waiver on 500 people or something off the price, so the people with dumpsters are not double paying. I've talked to a few people about that, and they're, I guess words got out, they've wondered what was going on, and I said that was their thought, and a lot of them have dumpsters and they don't want to pay that extra cost. I can't believe Peditary, they should be able to Peditary and Waste Management both should have the numbers of dumpsters in the township, so that number should be easy to get. If it's 100, say, all right, we want 150. So them people do not have to double. I don't know how to do it to try to make it fair.
so I know the town had done.
So the town of Dunn,
Farmers.
yes, they wrote it into their ordinance, and if you come into the office and you provide that you have a dumpster from a carrier, you can be exempt.
But
You just
now,
have to prevent.
I thought Peditary that night, it was all in or not for that price, so somebody's gotta absorb that price for that person then. When we asked that question that night.
Yeah, I think that I know what you're saying, and I think they were a little confused. The town of Dunn does it, and
Yeah.
we would be able to do it, exempt them if they have a service. We just have to ensure they have a service. We don't want to just have everybody and not just, they're gonna burn it or something. We can't do that.
Right. And then people
They-
also have to show a proof of how they're doing the recyclables.
Yeah. So, and they'd be exempt.
I think there's a way around
Like
it.
a farmer would be I mean,
Right.
you don't maybe
They have
say it's a
farmers.
Well, I
business,
mean,
but
there's
it's a farmer.
landscapers, there's
Yeah.
farmers,
Yeah, all of
there's
that.
multiple
Yeah.
small businesses.
Yeah.
Just something for you guys to keep in mind when you're doing that, because there is a number of.
Okay. 21 senior center report, Kate.
So, our contract right now goes for another year, up to August in another year. And I've talked a little bit with Kathy at Town of Dunn, because they pulled out. And they came up with how they, the amount that they felt was fair to come back in, and the village said no. And
You know what that figure was?
I don't know exactly,
Okay.
she knows so much about
Because
this.
weren't they 15,000 before or 5,000?
No, they're
Done.
13 or is it 15?
And I don't know what the new
It might be
proposal
15 or
was.
15.5.
But we kind of have had a discussion, and we're gonna get together at some point, maybe Rutland, to figure out, because the village has a lot of money coming in to pay more to the senior centers. We have a little less.
Right.
And we're gonna all kind of work together and see if we can come up with something that benefits us a little bit more than the village. It's gonna take a while, but we have time because we can't get out of the present contract, but
Is Brooklyn contributing anything?
Yes, they're contributing
5,000,
15.
15,
Or, yeah, I think it's 15 and one's 15.5.
really?
I think Dunn's 15.5 or 13.5 and 13.
Okay, good.
yeah.
Is that it?
Yeah.
Thank you. 22 assessment report, anything on the assessor? I mean, you got in here the dates, I see. there.
Yeah, I got the dates of the annual meeting. Why'd that get to this building permit? I'm sorry. And then I just put some information that they had sent us on assessments versus appraisals in case you guys were curious on any of that.
Ooh. Those inspections. Everybody's got a copy of that in their packet.
I'm sorry, I just flip-flopped that. That's page 61 and 62.
Right. 24, board communication and future agenda items. Anybody got anything? Nothing? Maybe an update on that.
Next week will be the annual meeting, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
I guess with that being said, I want to thank Arlen Christensen for your years in service here. I appreciate if you'd come to the annual meeting next week. And we're gonna miss you. It was great working with you. Jason, same thing. I know you've had a short term, but it's good working with you. A lot of input. We appreciate all that information. Anything else?
So we're gonna bring up at the annual meeting about constable.
It can be done there, yes. 25, update of American Rescue Plan Act.
So in your packet on page 67, I probably sent this in another email. So essentially what they have done is kind of let everyone take, and it's a 10 million allowance. So we can use the money pretty much on any way we would normally use it as a government entity. We just cannot use it to pay down debt. We cannot put it in savings. We have to actually spend it. So we have to report how that money is spent. And we have, I think, until 2026 to use that money. So I know one of the things we were talking about was the shed that just got retinned, they raised the door. And there were some quotes about having that concrete to sort of make a apron there. So that was like, you could have, yeah.
20.
It was 20?
It wasn't $20,000.
That was 10 something.
Well, before was 12. I had this bid back in 18
From who?
from Conco.
Oh, well, Fred got one.
13,600.
Fred got one.
Yep.
I remember
From
that.
Stone Roller, yep.
This was one I had from before, so I figured it'd probably go up a lot from then.
No, it's actually less.
Really?
Yeah.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
So we should put that in next month's
Yeah,
agenda.
yeah.
We can use that on road work too,
You can,
maybe get caught up on some maintenance.
We can use that money towards road work.
yep, you can use that money towards
You could-
work.
Really?
Time to maybe do a whole bunch of
Sand shed?
maintenance.
You can use it as a sand shed.
Sand shed too.
I mean, the recommendation is you would want to use it towards anything that you continue have to put money into because it's only one-time money. So you want to be able to use it. So like building improvements would be a good thing that you want to do that, you wouldn't have to take from savings, but you could do road work if there's something project. I know we have the Bellbrook Road Bridge that we're gonna have coming up, so it doesn't have to be used in one shot, but you just can't save it. So by 2026, it has to be gone. We only have half of it, which we spent some on the AV equipment, so.
How much was there to?
175 came and we'll get another 175. So there's like 300,000.
350.
No, I mean, my only suggestion, you catch a little up on maintenance, then that saves you some money to do the building project if it's available the following year, would be my only suggestion.
That is, I figured $10 sand compared to $80 salt. If we had a shed out there to use it, we'd be a lot of money ahead too.
Or they'd use 3 times as much because it ain't as powerful as salt if they can't back up and
Well, there's
salt.
a lot of times you can use sand.
Oh, I agree.
But you don't need that salt.
Right.
And that's a big difference.
Yep, it is, especially this time of the year. That's why
Yeah.
We have to use the same for the last 2 months.
Mhm.
So we borrowed, when we bought that tractor a year ago,
Yep, that would be
We
on
paid-
page 69.
we paid for that reserve fund. Did we replenish the reserve funds?
Cannot, no.
You didn't, we didn't replenish the reserve funds after we got the money we borrowed the money to pay for the tractor.
Oh, yeah, yes, yes, I'm sorry, yes,
So
you
We
are.
borrowed the money from the reserves fund to pay for that tractor. And
Yeah.
then when we got the loan, we were supposed to replenish the reserve fund. Did that happen?
Yes. But you just, the ARPA money can't be
Right.
used to like pay down debt or
Right,
it can't be
no,
saved, so,
That was totally-
but I mean, you could maneuver that in different ways.
We'll let when we get new board on board and get going, we will figure out what we're gonna do with that.
Yep.
Clerk report loan update, Jennifer.
So the loan report, if you're looking at page 69, we've made our big loan payments already, so we're gonna have no more loan payments this year. And so then I just want to mention that, we had the 103 left over from the loan. So the approval of the $10,000 from the mower tonight will come out of that loan. And then when we eventually get the park truck, that will come out of that balance as well. Then, if everyone can just take a look at page 68, that is the annual meeting agenda. Chief Linsmeyer called me today. He would like to be at the very top of the agenda because they are trying to make multiple town meetings. And so he asked if he could be put at the very top. So that's why he is number 4.
That's fine.
Is there anything else that you would like to include? I let Wade know, I reached out to the Wisconsin Towns Association. Annual meetings have a different requirement. To be able to vote, you have to be a town board, or I'm sorry, a town resident. And so we're going to offer it via Zoom, but we're going to make it noticed that you cannot participate via Zoom. You can only watch. So if there are any concerns, I will forward you the Wisconsin Towns Association attorney's opinion on that. The only other thing would be is if you wanted to, this would be one of the meetings to make that change from a constable, from an elected to, pretty much
It
not.
can be done underneath number 12, or we can make a separate item.
So we can do it, or it can be movement from the floor. Yeah, so you can do it in 12, or we can put it on there as an agenda item. We are allowed to do it either way. I also looked into that question with the Wisconsin Towns Association. It has to be an elector meeting, so it either has to be done at this one, or it would have to be done in fall at the budget. Those are the
I
only
guess-
two ones.
Maybe we should put on the agenda so that it gets out there so people know what we're doing.
Okay,
People see the agenda.
Yeah.
okay. Is it- everyone's okay with that?
Black and white, not
Yeah, then I can-
Okay.
paper cover.
And can someone just make sure to let, it's always usually nice to have
Alright,
Kurt
Already
here.
talked to Kurt.
Okay, if he can be here, that's
He said he'd
great.
be here.
Okay, perfect.
He has Monday and Tuesday off next week.
So you all might know, he still has to continue his term, which would be
Right.
for the year, but it wouldn't take effect until after.
Just want to make note that everybody's here. It's a 6 o'clock meeting. 6:30 or 6 o'clock.
Anything else that you want me, and if there's anything Belleville or Brooklyn or anything else that you want me to include in the packet, you can just let me know. Yeah,
You left her.
yeah, he said no, but if there's anything Belleville or anything.
8:27, which one of you guys want to make it?
Oh, wait, before I forget, I'm so sorry. One thing that I wanted to make, we have an agreement with Yahara. It's on page 70 of your book. It's related to like the Torque driveway, I
Yep.
think. Okay, so it's a 5-year agreement. So we did that in September of 2017, so that would be
This fall.
September of 2022. Would you guys like me to try to reach out to them and have them attend a board meeting, or how would
That'd
you
be
like to
fine.
work that?
I would
Is there
say,
any problems that are going on or anything?
no, not really. I would say,
Okay.
let's wait till June,
Okay. Try to get them
because the
here.
new board will be here in May and there'll be things to be issued then, so let's wait till June. It's up not till September, so we have a
Yeah.
couple months to work on.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And then the last thing would be, Wayne is the only one that got back to me on the flat book purchase, but is there anybody else? That was like flat book. This is, shoot, I don't have a picture, but it basically, I don't know, how would you describe it? It's a plat of the town of Oregon plus all the other municipalities in Dane County. There's just a little bit of a discount, I think, if you start to do in multiples. Carl, Arlen, did you guys like one? You like one? Arlen, you like one?
No, I've got one already.
Oh, you've got one? Okay, so I got 2. Okay, 3.
I got one.
You got one? Okay, so,
I have one.
okay, 4, yeah, okay, okay, all
I'm good.
right.
Okay, are you done?
Yeah, I'm done, thank you.
27,
Will be adjourned.
a motion from Arlen to adjourn at 7:43. Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Jason. All in favor, signal by saying aye. All same sign, motion carried.
Thank you very much, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we're gonna have some fun. Some things to do. We'll be seeing you again.
Yes, probably a few
You
more
guys
times.
can take
Actually. At least you were at the last meeting, so you were relatively familiar.
Yes.
I was on there for.
And you weren't, but you'll become really familiar with
I
me.
will. I'll try.
Pretty sure I've been at every
Looking
meeting
forward to
for
it.
like the last